Hello, I'm Kelly Anderson, L20362296. This is the participation video, and we are discussing campus acknowledgments and visions and how we celebrate those that implement these things. I teach 8th grade language arts, and I'm here with part of my team to participate in our video.
My name is Julie Rocher, and I am an instructional assistant. I've been working here at LDMS for about 9 years, and I'm part of the team here.
My name is Randy Garrison. I teach 8th grade math. I'm also the math department head. I've been at this middle school for approximately 6 years and teaching for 13 years.
I'm Chris Ann. I teach language arts. I've been here 18 years, 8th grade language arts.
All right, so we have a broad spectrum of educators with lots of experience all on the same campus and all with the same vision. Our campus vision is continuing the tradition of excellence. So one thing that we're going to talk about today, girls, is how does the campus acknowledge, recognize, and celebrate those that implement strategies in support of the campus vision?
Do you want to start?
Okay, well, one of the things that I know that y'all do is at faculty meetings, the person who is implementing something new and exciting is brought to the forefront, and their experiences are shared with everybody on campus.
And the students get to participate in that sometimes. It can be a teacher with a few of her students teaching the rest of the faculty like you did with the
And
people.
I don't think it's coincidence that you work with most of them. You bring such good ideas.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, we also, and this kind of goes beyond campus into district, we also had that mini conference earlier in the year when there's effective strategies that are implemented in supporting the campus vision of continuing the tradition of excellence. We celebrated that by having people within the district and many from our campus present to the rest of the staff those strategies and how to use them and implement them with students and other teachers. I think that was a big, you
I
know.
thought that the ones I attended were good too.
Yes.
There was some training that, like dyslexia training, some things that I did not know that we learned through that.
I attended some technology training on how to implement some technology strategies in the classroom. I thought those were really going to be effective with the kids and easy to implement immediately. So I think that's one way too, is we say, hey, you're good at this strategy. Let's celebrate it by having you present to the district and the rest of the campus.
And sometimes I'd rather hear it from my peers.
Yes.
Because they're people that know our campus, our traditions, our excellence, our
You
everything.
have a personal connection too.
Yeah.
And they've used it, and you can go straight across the hall and say, okay, I was trying to implement this, it's not working, can you help me out? So that's always nice to have the support there too, so I think that's one way we recognize,
Yeah.
is to say, you can do it.
Let's see, how are contributions and achievements communicated to the staff, students, and community? We have our new marketing person that we brought in through central admin that does a lot of PR.
The local
Yes.
papers and the internet, Facebook.
She's all over extracurricular events, taking pictures and putting statements out, so that's one.
We use a lot of, a wide range of social media as well. I mean, we have the district webpage, we have the kiosk, we have Twitter. There's some people have different pages, you know, Facebook, Instagram, things like that. And there's also call outs, you know, for different celebrations, different achievements. So I think
And teacher web pages.
Yeah,
too,
teacher web
you know.
pages.
Not just school or district, but teacher.
Still, some people still do print out newsletters, you know, things like that. So I think we cover a lot of different celebrations in a lot of different ways.
With the influx of technology and the things that we have, we're trying to communicate out, I think our district is doing a good job to try to make sure everything is mainstreamed. Like we have an Instagram or Facebook page now, it has to go through our director of marketing, and all the Twitter feeds and stuff come directly from her. It's like she's kind of the gatekeeper to that, which is good, because as we're all trying to, I guess, improve our communication, make sure it's the same and sticking with the vision of the district.
I'm going to make sure also what's put out there is representative and reflective in a positive light for the district and the campuses and the teachers, as opposed to, you don't want any negative, you know, publicity. Schools get enough of that as is for various reasons, even though it's not intended. So I think that's one of the reasons it's good to have common out. Well, I don't know what I'm trying to say exactly. Just a common theme amongst all the social medias and the different pages and Twitters and all the accounts we
Well, we
use.
started going to that too when we just, remember we used to be on the different webpage program, and then remember how we all kind of, you know, went to the same formatting,
They
you
all
know.
look similar.
Yeah, trying to make it easier on the parents and.
There's also recognition at school board meetings and things like that for
Yeah,
achievements
yeah,
and
yeah.
contributions. They'll recognize, you know, different teachers for things, they'll recognize students and groups of students for different achievements at the school board meetings, and as
And
well
the-
as end of year celebration,
Yeah.
beginning of year celebration. We recognize, you know, teachers of the year, we recognize those who put in extra time to be master teachers and who also were ambassadors for campuses. So, you know, and then those are all, of course, then put out in those web pages and Twitter feeds and things like that, but those are celebrated as well in
I think
meetings.
it's communicated effectively.
I
think
really do
they
too.
Do a good job in that.
I think it's progressed, because when I first started here, I think, you know, that was 6 years ago. I don't think there was as much communication, but as
Right.
we've progressed and as they've hired director of marketing, she has really helped out with that.
Yep.
So I think that we've done a great job.
Our district is growing.
Yes.
And
I remember when we didn't even have a computer in our classroom. I remember
So
when
nice.
internet had just been invented, and we thought it was, we used to do grades on an Excel sheet, and we thought it was so cool that we have one classroom computer. We didn't have labs, we didn't have any of that, you know, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
Back in
And
the day,
remember-
back in the
I
day,
remember-
baby.
I
Back in
remember
the day.
sitting with my mom at Christmas time, right before break, and we would call out grades, and she would average them, and then
Yep.
she would call it to us, and we would average on the index cards.
Well, we had a
3 or
phone
4
system,
times.
the
Yeah.
HAL system, that they would, the parent would call in or listen to the HAL, HAL, Homework Access Line. And we would call it once a week on a Sunday night and leave our lesson plans, and the parent, and this was cutting edge at the time. And
Wow.
the parents would call and get that.
That's
That's how they would get their kids' homework, was calling the HAL line and punching in the code. And so, you know, we did the
I
best
think
we
I'm
could
bringing
with
that
that.
back.
Go back to it.
Bring that back.
We did the best we could with what we had, you know, back then, but.
I like it.
That is cutting edge.
We're gonna resurrect Hal.
Yeah, I even drew coyotes howling at a moon, a big thing to put on my board at open house.
That's
To
awesome.
remind them of,
Yeah, remind the parents of, yeah.
That's cool.
that is cool. Well, I
So, I mean, we've evolved, as technology's come around, we've evolved. This is not the same place that it was 18 years ago, you know, but we're trying, we
Yeah.
try to keep up, and I think they do a good job at that.
Well, and I
they
think with the good comes risks that they've taken and things that hadn't worked well.
Mhm.
What are some things that we think we've overcome because of some of the things that not worked well?
No, I think just the constant training, the constant new programs, constant training, constant this, constant that. You know, teachers need time to plan, they need time to be creative, they need time to try to figure out how to get the kids to engage, which is not nearly as easy as it was many years ago. And that's hard to do because you're busy always trying to learn this new grade book program or this new whatever, or this new whatever, or, you know, oh, suddenly we're changing all the deeks, or we're
Yeah.
changing, you know, so it's just constantly, I mean, we had the TOS, we had the TAX, we had the STAR, you know, I can name them through the, we had Oasis, we had Skyward, you know, I mean,
Good.
I could just start
Oasis
naming
sounds
all of
awesome.
it, and it can be very overwhelming, you know, so you're trying to keep up with technology, but then you have all these new programs, but then your teachers are overwhelmed sometimes, but,
Well, because of technology, they, and I say they, people, anyone, parents, teachers, administrators, students, think that every answer we have is at our fingertips and we can
Yeah.
provide it immediately.
That's what I was about to add, is although we have the technology, they think they're immediate, it's feedback like that, you know?
Yes.
Or everything's just automatically done, excuse me, but it's not. There's still wait time, there's still, you know,
Yes.
things that we have to do before we can get it out to the
Right.
public. So I was just about to say that, so
Well,
glad
the
you
need
did.
it now, anyone can Google any answer and they expect that when they email the teacher. You know, half
Yes.
the time we're up teaching and then
Yes.
lunchtime we're eating, trying to communicate back, and sometimes parents feel that we're not responding as quickly as we should, not recognizing what we've got going on in our
yes,
classroom.
absolutely.
I've also had some parents occasionally over the years say, okay, I heard that message in, you know, 5-7 different ways, that's enough. You know,
Yes,
but, you know,
yes.
I don't need to hear that message anymore because we've put it out on the webpage, on a call out, you know, in a newsletter.
Twitter.
Yes, in any way, in the, you know, did I say kiosk earlier? It was marquee.
Yes.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Marquee, I mean, not kiosk. I was in the mall shopping.
I like that.
I don't know where that came from. Marquee. Yeah, someone should have corrected me on that one. But, you know, I think that's just so we can try to reach every single person at least in one way. And there's some who are up to date on all the pieces of technology we use in the communication devices we use, that they hear it so many times. But I'd rather them hear it too much than
Yes, and not
miss some of our
say-
parents or our
Right,
students,
yeah.
so. That's.
Well, yesterday the call out went out and the letter and an email, I mean, there was about STAR results.
Uh-huh.
And I've had students in my first block already asking me about the second admin for reading.
I have too, I had a parent email this morning, first thing.
Yes, and I said, oh, that was for the other, and they were kind of frustrated. But I said, you know, at least you know, and your parents know to expect your scores for your other,
Mhm.
and, you know, state guarantees them on the first, which is, you know, in just a couple of days, so.
I had kids, students ask about that as well
Yeah.
today.
So they just expect us to have it
Yeah.
in our back pocket.
Well, and you have to remember too that we're talking middle school kids. They want their independence. I don't want my mom telling me what to do. This is my life.
Yeah.
You know, but you come from the dinosaur age, all of that. And so they're not always going home telling their parents everything.
No.
In fact, most of the time, I think there's a big gap of what's going on. So at least, and you know, being a teacher, I don't have time to go home and make 85 calls every night for whatever,
Which
or
is
even
why
85 emails.
We
So
have our webpage and
Mhm.
Twitter and things like that, but they still, I guess everyone still wants it, you know, in their way that they,
sometimes you just have to do the
Personal
best you
preference.
can, and that's all, you know.
yeah,
But I think we've done, I think we do a pretty thorough job.
yeah.
I don't agree.
Oh,
I
for
think
sure.
one of our ways that we continue excellence around here is our communication,
Mhm.
all the things that we do. And I don't know of any other districts, and I think sometimes it's a positive, sometimes it's a negative, that a parent can walk in the front office and want to speak to someone, and sometimes that, more often so, that happens. And that's, our communication is really strong, and the parents just want to know right away. So
Yes.
sometimes, you know, when they're in the classroom, sometimes that's hard. But as a parent, I guess it's an urgent question, we're, you know, keeping up with the traditions to communicate well.
I agree.
Morale, improving morale, and I think I can speak freely for anyone that's an educator in the state of Texas in May. Morale is right now is not as high as it is in the fall because we're tired. But I know one thing, and this might be the cheesiest example, but one thing that makes me happy is when I hear the rolling cooler come by
Yes.
with sodas and
Snacks.
candy. So that's, I mean, that's one little perk. Our principal tries to do things that, you know, give us some perks, especially on Fridays.
Yes, I think too, you know, we do little things throughout the year. We have the chili cook-off that kind of brings us together as a campus. You know, we have several 20+ people who participate in
Yeah.
that, and we come together, you know, and eat. And I think those, it's all a lot of social things, but I think it just helps to boost morale. We have the faculty hot dog cookout. We have the birthday luncheons that we participate in.
Why is everything revolve
Yeah,
around
I know,
food?
because that's where people just, I
It
think,
is
feel
our
relaxed and
gathering.
it eases,
Yeah,
it's a
fellowship
gathering.
and-
And then we have, you know, the little prizes that people can win at the faculty meetings, and
That's
then
fun.
we have an opportunity to participate in different things throughout the year to earn an extra jeans day, which I think teachers really appreciate it. And I know they seem such little things, but I just think they help out throughout the year. It's like, as soon as you're feeling just down and just, you know, bogged down with everything, there seems to be some little something that comes around the corner that we can look forward to.
Clean too.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it is jeans or a candy bar.
Yeah,
We'll
I know.
take it.
It's the
We're
little
tired.
things that
That's
count.
but yeah.
Well, and with your team and with your department, I know our English department is really close.
Yeah.
Like losing Wanda this year has just been,
That transition.
it's
and-
been
Yes.
super hard on us. But, you know, we have a very close department, and I think our team is pretty close, and we still try to do birthdays and
We
remember
do.
things, and, you know.
We're a diverse group of people, but we
Mhm.
work very well together.
Yeah.
And I think too, being a reading teacher and being a math teacher and then helping in the reading department, there's a lot of pressure in 8th grade on
Yes.
those teachers and parents, and it's nice to be able to come to work and know that we're all going towards the same thing, which is achieving success. And I hope I don't snap at anybody today, I'm having a bad day, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, but we can let it roll and keep moving towards our campus.
And I think part of the also benefit of the team is that they're very honest with one another. Everybody pays their, and sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not, but
We,
you lay your cards out
Yeah.
on the table on what you need.
We do.
And speaking as an instructional assistant, we need to know that kind of stuff, so how we can help you all, you know?
yeah.
So it comes in handy that everybody is pretty upfront with what they need and what they want to have happen in the classroom, and we try to help you guys out with that, so.
You're doing a great job.
We're not afraid to do things that make fun of ourselves, you know, like, for example, you know, it's again, the little things, teachers participating in the skits at the pep rallies and
Yeah.
participating in the end of year
Yes,
celebration to
yes.
represent the campus, and you make a big goof out of yourself, but
But
you know, it's appreciated because everybody laughs and the kids really get a kick out of it when they see teachers doing things that is just, you know, out of norm, I guess, and
Well, that's the side they don't see.
like the year
Yeah.
we made the
Yes.
music video for Star, I mean, it was so goofy and just ridiculous, and you know, we were in costumes and things like that, but it's that kind of stuff, because we were laughing so we could barely even do the takes, because we were like, oh my gosh, what are you wearing, you know, it was ridiculous, so those kind of things just, I think, help, you know, anytime you can laugh and cut up and, you know, just not be your normal classroom self, you know, where you're having to make sure the kids are
The
getting what they
hard-nosed,
need. Yeah, you
battle axe.
get to relax
Yes.
a little bit,
Yeah.
and that always helps out. No
It
matter
does,
what.
and they see us as people
Yeah.
that care,
Mm-hmm.
even though we are the battle axe these days. I mean, it's
Yeah.
tough, it's a big balance.
So those are the things I look forward to.
Well, I look forward to the end of the year. It's not just our campus that is, it's not just our campus that participates in these things.
Mhm.
All the campuses
Yeah.
are given a skit
Yes.
or a task or routine, and then we kind of compete against each other in friendly competition.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's fun to see the district come together with that. That's kind of a morale booster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody loves public humiliation.
That's
Unless
really
you're
what
on
it
the
is
stage.
That's really what it boils down to, is public communication, for sure.
Well, continuing the tradition of excellence, I think our district does a good job in supporting that vision. Anything else we need to add in our?
I don't think so.
There's a lot of pioneers at this school who
Yes.
venture out and try new things
Yes,
to see
there
if
are.
it works,
Mhm.
so.
International Thumbnail Week.
Yeah. Kudos to
Yeah.
all of them.
I think our campus has, you know, the leader on our campus has done a really strong job of trying to get people who really have the same vision. You know, for the most part, I mean, everybody has different opinions and may think differently about what the vision means, but I think he's done a good job of trying to put together a team of people from 6th through 8th grade, faculty and staff, that really have the same overall vision and want what's best for
Right.
kids. You know, and if that's not their vision and they're not on board, they kind of tend to wean themselves out and find a new path for themselves and go, you know, where their thinking fits in with another district. So I think he's done a good job of putting us together, putting us on teams, and when it doesn't quite fit, he rearranges it, fixes it, you know, puts those puzzle pieces in to where it works, and we work together.
Yeah.
You know,
And we're a
pretty
tight
well.
group, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just me thinking this, but I've heard from other people at other campuses that
Mhm.
they really want to work on our campus
Oh, I've heard
because
that too.
we have a good camaraderie, a good
Mhm.
rapport, and we do, we side together and we look to see what's best for the students, sometimes those hard decisions, but, you know, we support each other.
Now, there are days that we will not agree on something.
Oh, yeah,
But I think there's a level of respect in that disagreement. There always has been.
and it says a lot for someone that can say, you know what, I disagree, or I think this, but we can still work together. You know, we can be
I
open
agree.
and honest, going back to what
Yeah.
you said, we're very honest with each other.
Run your
But
cards
it's
out on
not-
the table.
Hurtful, it's
Right,
just,
it's not in a mean way at all.
Well, and you have to remember that this is a hard business.
yeah.
Yes, it is.
I
It's
mean,
a
you're
changing
talking
business.
about, it's changing, but you're
Changes
talking
all the
about
time.
different generations of parents with different expectations, with different prior experiences, and you're talking about their baby
Yeah.
and Mama Bear coming out, and, you know, then you put other kids into the mix and peer pressure, and what did this one say?
It is a
And,
difficult
I mean, you know,
business.
it is just a very difficult, emotionally charged.
Yeah.
You have to be a
business.
chameleon as the teacher. You do. You have to be able to just do what needs to be done, and this day may look different from that day, and just be able to, you know, be flexible and understanding and
No, and you have to be
It's
okay
hard.
with getting your feelings hurt sometimes.
Yes.
And,
That's part of it.
and being bashed sometimes.
And being the bad guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
'cause-
have to, it is naturally, I told my kids the other day, I said, you know, you are 14, you wanna be independent, you wanna do what you wanna do. I'm your teacher, I want you to learn this, I'm thinking about your future, I want you to do what I wanna do. It's just natural, we're gonna
Yeah.
butt heads, I mean, that is just the
Yeah.
nature of the beast.
And any decision I make, like today I had to redirect some people that continued to talk. I could tell they were not happy with me, but we're down to the point of the year and
Yeah.
you know what, do I let the rest of the class be suffering because they can get away with it, or do I squash them, even come down to the end of the year, and I probably will get some parent emails, but, I mean, at
But
least
that's
we're.
part of going for the vision, I
It
mean,
is.
you know, it's.
we set a standard,
the
we set an
road-
expectation and.
The
and
road
we
is not
expect-
easily traveled. I
No,
mean, you
it's
know,
not.
if it was, then everybody would be successful. So, you know, you just have to you have to be realistic about it.
We go
You're
home, we
captain
come
of the
back.
ship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
start.
You're gonna
You
go
know,
down with
scream
it.
at the end of the day, but you sleep overnight, you come back and you're prepared to go through it again the next day.
Yeah, and it's just,
It's the
just
nature.
continue
Yep.
each and every day,
Yep.
plugging away. That's what we do.
Well,
I think we've covered it.
okay. Please. There. Hi, I'm Kelly Anderson, L203622296. I teach 8th grade language arts, and we are meeting to talk about the campus vision.
I'm Leslie Collins. I am the ESL specialist at the middle school.
My name's Jennifer Deffenbaugh. I am the ESL aide / paraprofessional at Lake Dallas Middle School.
And I'm Lizette De Rojas, and I'm the Communities and Schools Traditional Site Coordinator here at Lake Dallas Middle School.
Okay, so our campus motto is continuing the tradition of excellence. So our meeting today is to discuss a lot of aspects around our campus motto. And the first thing maybe to talk about is how do we acknowledge this motto, this tradition of excellence, and celebrate it among those who support the vision on campus?
I think for us, in particular, because we work mostly with at-risk students, we strive to help those students in a small group setting to feel more successful, to be more successful in class, and we want them to appreciate that feeling so that they work harder
Yeah.
toward the goal of passing their classes and gaining, you know, more of an understanding of the English language in reading, speaking, listening, writing.
And I think the way you guys have turned your department into kind of a content mastery for our second language learners has been very valuable. As a classroom teacher, I've seen the rewards.
Yes, and honestly, this is, in the past, teachers were a little bit skeptical about sending students because they didn't want them to miss, you know, lecture time. And I understand that, but sometimes when students are learning a language, they're not understanding the lecture.
Right.
So for them to come down here and get a little more support with whatever they're working on in class is a benefit to them, I think. And so using this as, like you said, content mastery is, we're reaching more students that way.
Right, which loops back to the campus vision, trying to get everyone to be successful.
Right.
And I know having Jennifer here,
Oh gosh.
It's been awesome. This is our first year to have an assistant, and I am helping twice as many students. Still being able to do paperwork, test students, keep up with paperwork, files, and you know all that stuff the state requires. And so Jennifer's has allowed me to be able to do some of that and not be so stressed.
Right,
Because
right.
you know before it was
And like we said, I think that helps the kids because when they do come in here, because there's two of us in here, there's more meaningful learning going on
right,
towards their success and, you know, how they go back to class more confident that in speaking with their classmates and things like that.
this is a question I have, and I've always wondered, how did the district recognize that you needed more help? Because that could be one of the things, like improving things that risks or.
I think because, you know, for the state test, they look at all the subpopulations and, you know, our district, that's one of our struggles is with our at-risk students and our English language learners. And I think they just, you know, realized, hey, we need more than one person on this campus to handle this. And because I
We
don't,
have so many students.
yeah, I mean, we
We
have
do.
70-something students and one person.
3 grade levels.
And 3 grade levels, 4
Yeah.
subjects.
Yes.
And, one person. And so Mr. Parker met with me and said, what can we do to help these kids? And he decided we needed an extra person in here. And I can't, I'm floored with the difference and the improvements and the increased benefits. Our students' grades have improved. We have fewer students failing.
I think from my end, when they come from you guys back to me, their morale is higher. I think they feel like they're taken seriously, and I think they feel appreciated, and that people care about their success and their need to be successful. And I've seen a huge improvement in the students that we share.
Yay, good. Because that's the ultimate goal, is each student, not just at some point, yes, the population, but, the student as an individual and that excellence in each of those, that's what, I think that's what we strive for,
Yeah.
is to find something in each student that we can pull out,
Yeah.
so.
And I think with Communities in Schools being a part of a school this year, I've been able, my job is to target the ones that are struggling, the ones that are gonna it looks like they're gonna fail, and looks like they're not gonna make it. And I think this year, and the students that have participated in CIS, they've come a long way.
Yeah.
And my eyes, I have seen them excel a lot, and for some of them even just being noticed. And I think that's one great thing, that we're in the same hallway right next to each other.
That
and
is
just-
fantastic, and
Yes.
I don't know if that was planned or not, but that works
They
out
need to keep
great.
it that way, that's for sure.
Yes, because we can communicate better. When a parent comes, we can just meet in one of our
Yes.
rooms. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
So much easier.
And then the kids feel comfortable, like this morning, waiting in here if I'm not
Yes.
there. So
Yes.
we're able, and then sometimes whenever they're not here, like, oh, it's Miss Collins here, or can I finish this in here?
Yes.
And it balances out.
It's almost like a little department.
It
Yes,
really is.
yes.
And then, we're all benefiting from all that you guys do. But I think they feel appreciated, they feel comfortable. Down here, you're within close proximity of each other and work well together.
Yeah, I think this area just needed some attention.
Yes, oh, absolutely.
And it's only going to increase.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think what we're doing is we've got a good start.
Our department is going to become bigger.
Yeah.
It's gonna grow and grow and grow.
Well, with Communities in Schools, I think, I don't want to say it's a risk or it was a risk, but it was something new for us. And that's something that a lot of us outside, and I don't know I'm in the ESL department because I have students, but a lot of us, and I know it's not just ESL students that you work with, but weren't sure what role you guys would play and how we could help you or you could help us, or were you a different institution completely? And it's been nice this year as it's transpired to see what you guys have done and the help and how comfortable you are with the kids and how they are with you. And I think that was something that the district looked at and said, hey, that's something that we need to try and see if it works. It's worked well.
Yeah, and obviously this year was my first year at a middle school, so I came from an elementary level. So there's some things that will be changed and things that will stick around, but I think overall, the students have responded well, and the teachers seem like they like it, so I hope so. And it's crazy having these kids from the beginning, when I had a lot of them saying, well, I'm not going to do anything in life, and I'm not going to do this, and I can't do that. And now as the year's ending, and especially the 8th graders, we're sending them off, they're coming, well, in college, and what do I need to do next year? And continuing the tradition of excellence, it's going to continue on because they have that in mind. They know that that's an option for them.
And you're one student that came to you and said, I want to wear a suit one day.
Oh my gosh.
That was,
Oh.
that
was
touched all of
monumental.
us.
Yeah.
That was like, yes, we're doing something
Here
right.
we are.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And he was concerned about his history test,
Yes.
the benchmark. He was afraid he hadn't passed it, so he had come to you with concerns, and he passed. He
Yeah.
passed it. But you know, the fact that he was concerned shows that he's
He
yes, he
cares.
cares. He's maturing. He's going that direction that we're
'Cause
trying to.
He wasn't
Guide
like
them.
that at the beginning of the year.
And that's what
correct?
I've heard from a lot of people, that and there's a certain group of students that, of my 8th graders, that I've heard that, well, last year they did this, and they did
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
And I feel like this year, with the attention that they've received from a lot of their teachers in the 8th grade,
Yeah.
they talk about you guys a lot.
Oh,
Good, I promise.
Oh, good.
And, knowing that there are staff members in this campus that do believe in them.
Yeah.
Now that the change, if I could have recorded that so you guys can see from the beginning where they wanted to do nothing to
Yeah.
now where they're
That's why you're
worried
here.
about
That's why
STAR
you're here.
and things
Yeah.
like that, and worried about the future,
Mhm.
and worried about, are they gonna be, successful, and are they gonna, in the future.
Is there anything that our district could do differently to support you more, or something that didn't work, or something that even with what you guys are doing, I mean, the whole thing is to just keep being successful. I
Right.
know one thing I need to do more is rely on you guys more, and give you more things that can help you, help them, help what they're doing in reading.
And I think we've all talked about that like
Open up the communication.
I think yes, I think at some points we're underutilized. You
Yeah.
know, for at especially certain points of the year, like beginning, middle, and
Yeah.
exam time, TELPAS, and everything like that. So that's one thing that as we keep growing this department, that progression of us being utilized more and more kind of just happens naturally.
Yeah.
So as we continue to help students.
And maybe as the message gets home, as their parents get more comfortable with things that we're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
One of the things that we're really big on, and we talked about a lot earlier, was the communication with the parents and all of it.
Yes.
And
And we
Right.
have something to say.
One of the great things that I can do, that my job not working for the district, allows me to do, is I do home visits. And one of the things that Leslie and I talked about last week is bringing her along with me. So, because a lot of the families, they call me, they send me notes with their kids, and the communication with me and them is great.
Yeah.
But that's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Even coming inside of the school, some parents call me and they're like, "Are you going to be there? I'm outside. Can you go to the office?" And I have to go to the office and wait for them because they will not come in.
Yeah.
So now, Leslie will begin coming with me to our home visits so they can
Get to know you.
get to know her and know there's someone else here. for
That's
her.
awesome.
Yeah, because I do think with parents, especially that don't speak English, trust is a big issue.
Yes. Yes.
And we want to build that
Yeah.
and make them comfortable so that they're better able to communicate with us and understand that we're supporting their children, and that there's no fear. There should be no fear here.
Well, and I think trust is the biggest thing to help continue the success. Is if they trust us, because we're with their children, then they can instill that trust in their children, and it
Yes.
just
Mhm.
trickles down.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
And also, I think I have a family that I'm working with in 7th grade that the student has not been truthful with mom about going to tutorials. So now mom calls me. Did he go? Well, he's in the car with her. And so this past yesterday and today, during his first period, which he has an elective off-season athletic, he's coming in and working in my room.
Good.
And because now he knows that mom's calling me
Yeah.
and he's lying to mom and she's
Uh-huh.
going to find out.
Someone's keeping tabs.
Yes,
Oh.
yeah. And then one other thing that Leslie also wants the parents to utilize is the fact that we have Rosetta Stone
Yes,
here.
and we have parents who are starting to come after school and use the Rosetta Stone on the computers. So that's nice. And I even had a young man yesterday who stepped in and said, "Hey, can my mom come tomorrow afternoon?" So that's, 2 families that are going to be using it. So, I mean, that's great.
That right there will get out into the community of all that we're doing for them,
Mhm.
for kids, and for. Were there any other things we did before school? Seems like earlier in the year, as we reflect back on the year, was there like donuts? Did you bring donuts in one morning for parents?
Oh, there was a meeting
The
at the
meeting.
beginning of the year.
Yes, in the beginning of the year. And you would be surprised how food attracts
Yes, lots of
and,
teachers.
yes, and you know, I don't know where and they brought donuts and fruit, coffee, juice, and we had
A good group.
a good group of parents,
Good.
here. And so that was done in the beginning of the year, and I had a presentation for the parents 2 weeks ago, I think. I didn't have a big turnout. It was raining, so I'm going to blame it on the rain.
It's horrible.
So, and we had the UNT Go Center present to them. So I think we want to continue this and do it more often and have Leslie present whenever. If she runs it, then I'll be here. If I run it, I will invite her. So the families can know that we are here for
Right.
them. Yeah.
What's the Go Center?
The Go Center, it's a student-run part of the university, and their role is to go out to certain schools and talk to the students, the parents about UNT. And what I loved about the students that came, they were the students that were not going to make it to college. These are the students that they're on scholarship, on grants. That I had one of the girls presenting got her undergrad in Mexico, moved here, and right now she's getting her master's in education at UNT. So it's great. It's great for the parents to find people they can relate to.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
And then the students, the other students that talked to our kiddos, they were very relaxed, and they're young, and they're telling them telling all the cool things about college, and so our kids get excited. So I like that because it's college students presenting.
Yeah,
People
they look up to, and they think it's attainable.
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat. I didn't know they did that. And that's another thing, like, as far as communicating within the community, students from UNT will talk about we went to Lake Dallas and this, or even the students here can say people from UNT came. I mean, that's a huge thing. Has there been anything outside of the district that Community and Schools markets, or not markets, but communicates with other districts, or how many?
How many school districts do we?
Yeah.
Communities and Schools of North Texas, we have 6 school districts right
Okay.
now. Lake Dallas and Bridgeport are the newest. We're the babies.
How did we get you guys? Because it's just the greatest thing. How did someone in admin apply and just
Yeah,
reach out? Or?
it's a long process because we only serve Title I schools,
Okay.
and a lot of schools want CIS in their campus.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it was Gail.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure who it was, but they were just saying we want CIS, and then whenever the budgets are right and we're able to open a new program, and that's where LDE started. That's where I was
Okay.
before, and then once I was at LDE for a year and a half, and then Mr. Parker decided that he wants it too, and so then Lake Dallas Middle School opened, and it was decided that I will move up with this year's 6th graders up
Good.
here, and then we had another person step in and take over the program over there.
Okay, so this is kind of a fun thing that I want to talk about. What processes are used in improving morale, which moves the campus towards the tradition of excellence? This is totally switching gears, but one thing that I see that we do, like at staff meetings, is recognize staff members for tenure, or have staff members put on performances and stuff, especially this time of year. Anything?
Gosh.
That was a tough one.
I haven't been here long enough.
I don't know. I mean,
Maybe.
I try to do little things for like
Yeah.
the ESL certified teachers.
Yes.
Because I
you
want
do.
more ESL certified teachers.
And the nice little trinkets and
Yes.
things that we
Yeah,
get
yeah.
are so nice.
Some things I have done in the past. I haven't done them this semester, but it's like giving extra lunch time. 30 extra minutes, so you
Yeah.
have an
Oh.
hour for lunch.
Or having a lunch meeting.
Yeah, having a lunch meeting, which is kind of
Just so
nice. Anything you can do, because I think our profession is so, I don't know that people respect what we do outside of education, the world of education. I don't know that they understand what goes on, and I think we kind of have to pull ourselves up.
Yeah.
And so if we can do that for each other with just anything, you know, an acknowledgement, a compliment, anything, a candy bar with a note written on it stuck in your box.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is, you're exactly right, because there's so many times that if I redirect a student, okay, who am I gonna make more mad? The classmate, the student, the parent, you know, no matter what decision I make, which is in the best interest, which is trying to continue the tradition of excellence, someone's going to be mad.
Yeah.
And living with that, and people in the outside world not realizing, you know, what we go through to help people be successful. It's so nice when we get things like that,
Yes.
and you guys are so sweet to
Yeah.
be supportive of.
Yeah. Well, even what day was it? The Friday before spring break, Mr. Wilsterman and Mr. Parker came around with the drinks and the
Oh.
candy bars.
That's my favorite
And then-
day ever.
I know. And then
I heard
they
that
did
cart
it.
coming.
Yeah. And then they did it 2 Fridays ago again.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the end of school. That I always like that. I'm like, ooh, candy.
Ooh, candy is good, and drinks are good too.
Yay. Yes.
And to be rewarded during class too is so nice because it's unexpected.
Yes.
Yeah. You're like,
Yes.
I got a candy bar.
I'm doing right now.
And it's a candy bar. I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a
Little
small
thing.
thing, such a small thing.
But it makes your day.
It does, and it doesn't take a lot, doesn't take a lot of money. It's more, it's really more of just recognizing someone, telling them, voicing that.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that
And you know,
makes
it's
a
so
difference.
funny as we're talking about this. I'm thinking about too the student you guys were just talking about, who I don't know, but the one
Yeah.
that wants to wear a suit. How special they felt just by being recognized and being rewarded, even if it's just verbally. How much of a impact that made.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I hope we don't see that student as, we see him in the halls more so. We don't really see
Yeah.
him, like you do.
He's
but
interviewing for jobs.
Yeah.
Getting ready.
Yeah, he's getting ready.
So how do we, and this is just maybe make the list, how do we communicate with people in the community what we're doing? Like, I know we've got our marketing director that tweets a lot and Facebooks, and she kind of keeps that avenue going, but what else do we do, especially with our department? I'm saying ours because
Yeah.
I'm like
Yes.
the
Yes.
little pinky of the But what, I know having parent involvement is big, CIS is big.
With CIS, we have a staff member that is in charge of sending out like tweets and Facebook and things like that. The only downfall that I see on that is that it says Community Schools of North Texas, 6 school districts, and it's kind of hard to.
It's not targeted.
It's not exactly. So with CIS being so new in Lake Dallas, I mean, we still have teachers that don't know who we are or
Right.
what
Right.
we do.
Right.
So the community definitely does not
No.
know. And that falls on us, the site coordinators, to make sure that we go and talk to our community. I haven't done a good job about that, but because I weigh it.
Yeah.
Do I go out and talk to the community about what CIS does, or do I focus my time on my kids?
Right.
So
So you've got to take your focus on what the priority is.
And there have been countless number of times where you are out in the community or, working with a student outside of school or, working with their family or whatever. And you still get kids that come. Is Miss Day Rojas here?
Yes,
Is Miss Day Rojas here? So, I mean, where do you put all your time?
Yes, and it's hard to, and even times when I spend too much time with a certain family, I'm like, okay, well,
You've got
one,
you've got other
maybe
families.
Yeah.
two, someone else is coming. So it really is very hard for myself and for Priscilla to at LDE for us to go out in the community and say this is what CIS does, because then
Right.
we're leaving our campus, and
Yeah.
then if a teacher needs us and the student needs us, where are they?
Right.
What are they doing?
Right.
So we really have to, and it sucks because the community doesn't really know.
No. When they, do things get mailed home to students and it just says community schools with
I
your
do
logo, or is it emails or?
everything that I send home. I send it home with the student, and my logo is on everything because I need the families to recognize that little house,
Right,
with
yes,
a
yes.
little boy. Going with but and then every time that something is sent home, a phone call is made.
Okay.
This is coming.
Oh, that's
this
good
is
to
good.
know.
Hey, by the way, this, and that.
Do you make all the phone
Yes.
calls in addition? Oh my gosh, I know when I make a parent phone call, sometimes it turns into a parent conference and sometimes 45 minutes later, and you don't want to discredit what they have to say, but we also have such limited time. How do you do all that?
It's
It's a juggle.
It's yes, because we're sending everything home, but we know that that's not gonna make it home.
Yeah.
So there are days when I am in there, pick it up and hang up, and pick it up and hang up,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
just call after call after call, and I mean it has to be done.
Do you get good response with parents answering the phone?
Yes, and I have
Really?
yes.
And we
When
don't
I
experience
call,
that though,
the
do
phone
we?
line,
Yes.
Sometimes they think, oh gosh.
That's just showing the relationship that she gets to form,
Yeah.
you know, and the time that you have to form it versus the time
Us
and the opportunity that we have to form it.
Well, and that's exactly right. You are getting to know the families, and we all try, but we're still. Oh, for me, not you guys. I'm just the teacher, and these students have maybe 10, whereas
Yeah.
you are going to their home, meeting with their kid during lunch, which really shows when you put that much interest into a student or a child, they'll perform.
And I think something else she can do is, in middle school, we don't have a big problem with this, but kids not coming to school, she can go to their home that day at that
I'm
minute.
gonna come get you.
and handle that.
Love it.
Get
Yeah.
in the
That's,
car.
you know?
Yes, and I've heard you say, "I will come to your house and pick you up."
Yep.
And I'm like, yes. I said
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Officer Thompson might be.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes.
Oh, hi. Hang on. Sorry. Thank y'all. Sorry. I think, like I say, we're talking about communication with the community for things for next year. What can we brainstorm to help you and help you guys? And then I could facilitate. I mean, just, is there anything that maybe district meetings or maybe mention at convocation? Hey, maybe you don't know we're partnering this, or I don't know. Because what you just said about people not knowing a lot about your department, a lot of people don't. And then the changes that you guys have done and coupled together, this is fantastic.
I know.
And it's been such a benefit for me, 8th grade reading teacher. I don't think the school, outside of those that deal with the student population, no.
Right.
Yeah, and Lizette and I have visited a few times about
Yeah.
things that we would like to try and change
Yes.
and things we want to do. And going to the home visits with her is one thing.
Yeah.
And then, and we had meetings even before, we had communities in schools. And the meetings, parents didn't respond to me. I would have maybe 8 people, and you get 30. And it's just because I am not a fluent Spanish speaker,
Yeah.
and they're not comfortable.
Yes.
Even though I had a translator and they
Right.
were aware of that in advance when they were
Right.
invited, it makes a difference having Lizette here. And I think that's such a simple thing, but it makes such a big difference.
Right.
But, Falcon Camp, if you could be present at Falcon
Oh,
Camp, and we could
that's
have like a
good
little
idea,
table set
'cause
up.
the 6th graders are coming
Yes.
in.
That is a really
And have a little table set up.
Because the
And
current 6th graders know.
right.
Next year they'll be 7th graders. So
Yeah, so
and
it will
that-
gradually
yes.
get so that everyone is
Yeah.
aware of it and
Because
understands
2/3
how it
of our
works.
campus comes from elsewhere
Mhm.
in LDE, so
Yes.
they're not going to know.
And one thing that I really liked that we did this year was bringing the 5th graders in. With my 8th graders.
That was such a fun day.
Oh my!
Seeing
they
them
loved
walk
it.
around.
You know
Um,
what? I saw through the window over there, and
What
Sweet.
did you?
It
So
was just the growth of the 8th graders and the excitement in the 5th graders. I'm a
Yeah.
stop it. But it's so true. They have grown so much.
And then another thing that Leslie and I, I know we talked about this in the beginning of the year, is maybe have a training for the teachers.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
there are times when we see something, and if I could, I would tell you the story of every student possible, but I can't.
Right.
right.
But I think that the teachers, some of them do a good job, but the others still need to learn what the effects of poverty are to our kids.
There's a big compassion thing that
Yes.
needs to be.
Huge.
Yeah.
I have, just an example, a 7th grader right now that I'm dealing with, that she came back today, and I told her, she was gone for a week and a half, and there were some pretty serious reasons why she was gone, and now she's back, and she's gonna go ask teachers for her makeup work.
Yeah.
And she's one that's late, She is a
Oh.
student that will talk back to the teacher. And now that she wants to go and ask for these papers, I told her, if you have any pushback, you come to me. Because she didn't want me to email anyone and tell. She's like, no, I'll do
Sure.
it. But I think
Good
a
for
lot,
her though,
I
that
know.
she said that, good for her.
But I think a lot of the teachers need to understand how these kids are affected by what's going on at home.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that in next school year when it begins, I will share some stories with you guys as a whole.
Yeah.
And I might cry. But I
That's
think that some of you guys need to understand what these kids are going to at home or what they're not going
And these
home
are
to.
kids in our district. This is not a video put together to
No.
promote. I mean, these are kids that we
Oh,
work with,
these are
that
real-
we
our
live
kids.
down the
Yes.
street
Yes.
from.
Yeah,
And I think it's
in our classrooms.
yes, and it's sometimes difficult because sometimes it's the student that you see, well, he's wearing nice clothes or she's wearing nice clothes. Well,
That's part of, they wanna fit in.
yeah,
So they'll do anything that they can. They'll go without something at home, something important, just so they can have that pair of shoes or whatever it is.
because
And-
it's a social jungle right
Yeah.
here. They
Yes.
have
Mhm.
to fit in. And sometimes other staff members see it as well.
They
They
have
make a
this,
judgment.
yeah,
It's like, well, you're wrong.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm very fortunate that I get to see that because
Uh-huh.
I get to interact with the students and the families but I think other staff members need to be aware of the things that are going on at home or not happening at home.
Well, and that new pair of shoes might be something to, as a parent, maybe make them feel, well, at least at school they're taken care of. Or at least, I can
Yes.
give them this to make them know that they're loved, even though it's sacrificing something we need at home.
Yes.
To make them feel special, because it's, I think most parents think it's not their kid's fault that they're
Mhm.
living. I mean, we're all
Mhm.
putting a family, Whew. It's just, it's hard.
It is, but some of that training is necessary because those of us who have grown up in a middle-class home,
Yeah.
family, we don't have any idea.
Mm-mm.
We don't have any idea of the struggles that, a child goes home to an empty house because both parents are working to put
Yep.
shelter over their heads,
Parents don't know that their kids are skipping school because
they're at work.
Right.
And
You
it's,
know,
it's a totally different,
It's a lot of responsibility on the parents, a lot of responsibility on the child.
yes.
But if we can get that triangle, that trifecta, teacher, student, parent going, and we can try to get that with as many families and students, think of how many less problems
I know.
like that we could deal with,
Mhm.
you know, and fix.
Next year, we have a full week of professional development before the kids go. Like, we are here, supposed to be here 8 to 4. I don't know what they're planning at the high school yet, but maybe plan a bug and Mr. Parker's here now to get on the
Yes.
agenda. Because I think he'd rather have you volunteer now than later have to fill the time.
Yes.
I really
I
want to
think it would
speak
be
to
more
the staff.
meaningful, this would be
Yeah.
meaningful staff development.
Oh, absolutely.
And it would be applicable because there are so many of us, like I said, that need to hear this,
Yeah.
that have no idea because we've not had the experience,
Right.
and that's happening right here at home.
And I just
It's-
wanna put this in as someone, as a paraprofessional that is teacher certified, but I haven't been in my own classroom yet. The experience that I have gotten in this department working with the ESL kids and some of the at-risk kids
Yeah.
is invaluable.
Yeah.
The compassion that I have literally been able to grow in my own heart and what I can take into my classroom is only gonna do me good, my students good, those parents good. I mean, I can't tell you, like, even when I was student teaching them, I'm like, well, that's funny, why is that kid's hair dirty every day?
Yeah.
Not even thinking, oh my god, they can't afford shampoo.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
and
those
so-
little things.
Yeah.
And now I have that ability now to really think of that.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Ms. Rojas, are these girls supposed to be waiting in the hallway for you, or should I send them back to the cafeteria? Thank you.
So, anyways.
Thank you.
And I think with, allowing the teachers to understand this,
Just sprinkle some of that
yes.
experience and knowledge, because we don't, I mean, I do on a very small scale. And I know I work closer with you guys than other departments just because of what I teach. But if I didn't teach reading, I
Mhm.
probably wouldn't.
That's true. Yeah, I think we can make a big difference in the lives of our students by being empathetic.
Yeah.
Being able to be compassionate and understanding, even at times when we don't feel like it, if we can just seem like it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, even if we're beat down and we're tired of the same problems, if we can
Yeah.
just at least,
And we put on the brave face for the kid.
yeah,
Put on the
yeah,
brave face
yeah.
for the kid,
Yeah.
that student.
Well. The bell, I guess.